What's up, guys? This is Shane Wallen, Optimum Nutrition Ambassador. I'm excited to be a part of Optimum Nutrition's Building Better Lives program. I got really into fitness and training when I was just a freshman in high school, working out with my brother in our homemade gym in what used to be a storage room in a barn. And I took a passion for training with a lot of help along the way, turned it into a career, becoming a strength conditioning coach first for professional football teams in the NFL, and now as a head strength conditioning coach for a pro baseball team in Chicago. I wouldn't be where I am without having access to mentors, and I 100% support Optimum Nutrition as they promote access to fitness for all. Today, we're going to focus on the legs. They're the foundation, literally and figuratively, for fitness. Strengthening your legs helps build more muscle, burn calories, and improve other aspects of your athletic performance. I'm really psyched to have a very special surprise guest with me today who knows the importance of leg strength. I'm going to let him in the chat right now. Everyone, I'm pleased to introduce professional place kicker Wil Lutz.
Thanks for the introduction, Shane. Happy to be here today to help Act Fitness for All with Optimum Nutrition, Building Better Lives. I'm also a partner with Optimum Nutrition, so thanks for allowing me on today.
So Wil and I are going to demonstrate a few quick exercises to help build lower body strength and address some common questions about the leg workout. All right, so when we start our leg workouts, usually we're going to start with plyometrics, some sort of jump, whether it's loaded or unloaded, due to the fact that those are the most fatiguing and most power producing movements in lower body workouts. We want to do those when we're fresh, not when we're fatigued at the end of the workout. So Wil and I are going to start out with some squat jumps. We're going to go 3 sets of 5 reps. And after we're done there, we'll go into some lateral bounds. We'll go three sets of 3 reps on each side. All right, so let's start with the squat jumps here, Wil. We go 5 reps. All right, use your arms, jump as high as you can. All right, ready?
Let's get the heart rate up.
So there's 5. Let's go ahead and move on to our lateral bounds, right? So we're gonna load into our trail leg here and then bound to the other side. Okay, so if I'm loading into my left, I'm jumping and bounding out to my right. Goal here to get height and depth as we get out, okay? So 3 reps on each side. So we'll start out with the left side here, okay? Yep. All right, 1 set. We got 2 more. Ready for the jumps?
Right back into bounds here.
Yep, lateral bounds. All right, 1 more set of those. So I was thinking split squat. We could just for the sake of body weight, we could manipulate the time under tension and just go like a slow lower.
Okay.
I mean, 3 seconds on each leg, 5 or 6 reps. And then we can give another more complex option, that being some sort of like pistol or single leg.
Okay.
I don't know if I can, the camera angle is going to be good enough. So I just drop it down a little bit. Okay. So now that we're done with our plyos, we're gonna get into some of the strength training for the lower half. We'll start out here with a split squat, okay? We're gonna recommend you guys do 3 sets of 5 on each leg, and we're gonna manipulate the tempo, meaning how slow you go down, okay? So we're gonna ask that you go 3 seconds on each leg, and Will and I will demonstrate this so it's a little bit more clear. So we're gonna get into a split squat stance, okay? And all we're gonna do is just drop that back knee straight down to the ground. And this is where the time under tension and the slow lowering comes into play, all right? So we're just gonna 3-second count, as in 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, to get that knee back down to the ground and come back up, all right? So Will and I have demoed this first set. And again, we recommend 3 sets, 5 reps, 3 seconds on each rep, all right? Here we go. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and then back up, okay? So we'll keep going from here. All right, switch legs, that was 5.
And Shane, we are not actually touching the ground with our knee here, correct? We're just kind of hovering right above.
Yeah, I mean, you can tap the knee on the ground, but you should not be banging your knee on the ground. The whole point of this is control. So if you come up right before you touch the ground, totally fine. If you tap on the ground, also totally fine. Just don't let that knee slam to the ground. Last one for me. All right. So for the more advanced group that we have, we've got a little bit of a single leg pistol squat, okay? So we'll just try to do one set of 3 reps on each side here. A little bit more challenging for this stance leg here. So I'm just gonna drop my opposite leg back as I try to squat down and hinge, all right? So as I'm going down, the goal here is to tap the knee on the ground and come back up, okay? And we'll just do one side. Go 3 each side. Again, so with the split squat, 3 sets, 5 reps, 3-second lowers. With the single leg pistol squat, 3 reps, 3 sets, and nice and controlled on the way down. No specific tempo manipulation there. All right, Will, so now we're gonna get into the frontal plane a little bit. Just like we were getting the frontal plane with the plyos earlier, we're gonna implement that in our strength training, all right? So start off with a lateral lunge. We're gonna go 3 sets of 8 reps on each side for just the regular lateral lunge, and then we've got a more challenging variation for people who have access to some hardwood floors, all right? So we'll start out with the less challenging variation here, and that's gonna be just a regular lateral lunge, all right? So we'll demo 1 set here, 6 reps on each side, or 8 reps on each side, and then we'll get into more challenging variations. So just a regular lateral lunge, okay? I'm gonna start to my right.
I'll start to my left, so I don't hit the wall.
Perfect. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Getting a little bit of adductor, which is the inside of the thigh here, and some glute.
And as far as the leading leg, you want your toe pointing forward, correct? To really hit that sweet spot.
You know what? For a lot of people, you want the toe facing forward, but depending on how the femur kind of sits in the hip, some people might externally rotate a little bit.
Gotcha.
So it depends on your anatomy, really, is the right answer, but most people, yeah, don't have a hard time keeping that foot forward. I got 4 more on my last side here. 3. All right, perfect. So for the more challenging variation here, we're gonna go shoes off, okay? So no shoes, gotta have socks on, you gotta have hardwood floor, all right? So all I'm gonna do here is stabilize on my left leg. So if I'm sliding to my right, you're gonna take your right shoe off, you're gonna leave your left shoe on, and you're gonna just kind of sit into this stance leg. It's very much a lateral lunge, okay? But you're just, as you're sitting into this stance leg, your right leg is sliding out laterally to your body, okay? So chest up, sitting into this back leg, almost like a single leg squat, with that right leg trailing laterally to the body. All right, we're gonna go 5 each side. All right, 5 each side, and then switch sides. Well, I'm assuming you have a good side and a bad side. All right. So last but not least, we're gonna get a little bit of the posterior chain, meaning the back side of the lower half. So specifically, we're gonna target the hamstrings, and we're gonna hit a single leg RDL, all right? So to give you guys a better frame here, as I'm hinging at the hip, okay, so this is a hinge, all right? Right leg is gonna come back, right? We want the pelvis to stay neutral, okay? So as I hinge and the leg goes back, I don't want anybody opening up and flying open, okay? So keep the hips neutral. Push this leg back as you're hinging forward, okay? So you should feel a little bit of tightness, a little bit of activation of the posterior chain, the hamstring muscles, okay?
This is one of my favorite movements as a kicker. Single leg. Single leg is really important.
Yep, super functional for you guys. We're gonna go 6 each leg.
And Shane, you would recommend about a 3-second count here as well, correct?
Yeah, nice and controlled. And again, if you have body weight, the way we kind of get around that is manipulating the time under tension, right? So we add that 3 to 5 second lowering, creates a little bit more muscle damage. If you know, and you can do it with load as well, but right now, home environment, not a lot of tools, not a lot of gym equipment. So we can kind of get around that by utilizing a little bit more time under tension.
Gotcha.
All right, let's hit this other side. For me, it's my right side. All right, again, we're gonna recommend 3 sets of 6 reps on each side. And like Will alluded to, 2 to 3 second lowering. Again, really wanna take in that tempo when we're working with body weight only. So, you want it in a supine position, meaning on your back, okay? Feet right underneath your glutes and hamstrings. Now I want you to bridge up, keeping the pelvis neutral. And then from here, we're just gonna slide our feet out until they almost touch the ground, all right? So nice and slow, again with the tempo, we're gonna go 5 seconds here. And then just come right back up. We're gonna go 3 reps. This one's a little difficult. And back up, last one.
Good one.
Yep. I'm sure you've done your fair share of these.
Gotta hit the hammies.
Important muscle group for football players, for all athletes, really. For the eccentric inverse leg curl, just make sure you guys are doing 3 sets of 3 reps with a 5-second lower, all right? So we're just gonna go over a couple questions we have here. So we'll start out with this first one. This one's probably for you, Will. Is leg strength the most important factor in being a successful place kicker?
I do think that is extremely important. You know, if you can't get the ball there to the uprights, that's not good, right? But I think there's more to it than just being strong. You know, if leg strength was everything, there'd be a lot, many more kickers trying to take my job on a daily basis. So I think, you know, flexibility is important, but at the same time, it's building strength with flexibility. I think, you know, it's one thing to be flexible and not strong. I kind of look at it as a rubber band. You want a little bit of a snapback, but you don't want to be too flexible. And then to the other side of it, you don't want to be too strong and not very flexible. So I think flexibility and strength go hand in hand with kicking. You know, if I'm not staying strong during the off season, it'll kind of feel like I'm swinging a noodle with my leg just because I can touch my toes, you know? So I do think leg strength is extremely important, but adding that flexibility to the leg strength to me is what kind of takes you to the next level.
Right, and I agree. Again, I don't, even coming from a strength coach's perspective, I don't think it's the most important, because kicking is inherently a skill, right? So first and foremost, you have to be good at kicking the football in order to be a successful place kicker. Leg strength and mobility, flexibility all supplement your ability to do that, right? But if you don't have the skill set to kick the football through the uprights in big moments, then it doesn't matter how strong or how mobile you are, right?
Exactly. If you can't hit the broadside of a barn, leg strength is nothing.
Means nothing. All right. Number 2, how do you measure progress when working to tone and strengthen your legs?
So a basic answer for me, from someone who doesn't study, you know, fitness as a living, I would say just look in the mirror, right? If you just give a good flex and I have that teardrop everybody wants in my leg, that means I'm strong, right? You know,
right.
Not necessarily, you know, I think, you know, you talk about, you know, max days and how, you know, one week you can squat 300 pounds. The next week you can squat 305. You know, obviously you're gaining some strength, right? I mean, that's how I would look at it. From your point of view, being a strength coach, how do you know, kind of measure that with your athletes?
Yeah, I think you definitely nailed part of it right there. You know, most commonly, if you're looking for an objective measurement, you know, in certain settings, a 1, 3, or 5 repetition max is appropriate. After concluding a training block, to see kind of, you know, where's my strength gone in this training block? Where do I need to go next? What did work? What didn't work? And so it kind of allows you to modify your training block according to, you know, to your results. So in working with professional athletes, though, that kind of testing is less likely due to the risk of injury. So we tend to track less invasive metrics like jump height, reactive ability, speed testing, and isometric force measurements to test strength capabilities. So isometric meaning the muscle is actually not lengthening or shortening. So the risk of injury during those assessments is very, very low to none. So we have and we do measure some of those tests that allow us to kind of assess force outputs in certain positions. So that's how we do it, both when I was in the NFL and now when I'm in baseball. Question number 3, how do leg exercises help improve other aspects of athletic performance?
So I grew up a soccer player, which naturally helped me convert to being a field goal kicker, just with the natural swing aspect of it, right? But one thing for me that leg exercises have helped me improve on is coordination as a whole. I think, you kind of discover your lower body through these exercises, and you learn how to tie all your muscles together through these strengthening exercises, which to me leads to better coordination and being able to kind of control your body better.
Yeah, I agree. From our end, leg exercises are instrumental in developing strength and power of the lower body, right? So leg exercises can not only support building lean tissue, but also developing robustness and integrity of the joints, tendons, ligaments, and muscle fibers, which is extremely important in terms of keeping players like yourself on the field, right? If you're using leg exercise to increase strength and power, then your ability to run faster, jump higher, change direction quicker, or sustain a certain level of performance is likely to increase as well. Last question here. What are the most important muscles to focus on with lower body workouts?
So I'll take this from a kicker's aspect. I think it is very easy to neglect these smaller muscles when, trying to build strength. All you think about is squat, deadlift, power clean, the things that kind of make you look good, right? And
right.
All that is a necessity for kicking. I really need to hit my quads, my hamstrings, my glutes. So those are the 3 I focus on, but then, I always spend at least one day a week really working on the smaller muscles that kind of help grow the larger muscles. I think working my groin is extremely important with the way kickers kind of swing and the force we're using to hit this little ball, right? And so I think groin is extremely important. Your hip flexor, your abductors, your adductors. So that's I'm basically saying every muscle in the lower body because they're all just as important. But as far as, the main 3 muscles that I focus on, it's the quad, the hamstrings, and the glutes, because that's where I generate my power.
Yeah, and I think you kind of nailed it at the end there, but I'll piggyback off that and give you the strength coach answer here. I think that they're all extremely important in the functionality of the lower half. I from a strength coach's standpoint, I tend not to train muscles with athletes. I tend to train movements, right? So, which is, it involves the engagement of several muscle groups at the same time during the exercise, right? So we don't isolate, or there's an appropriate time to isolate, a bicep or, a calf or a hamstring or whatever. But for our big movers, like you were mentioning, the squats, the deadlifts, all that stuff, we tend not to focus just on one muscle group because essentially all of them are important. You know what I mean? And we do this because in sport, we see similar concepts and strategies. When a player's running, they're not just using their arms or just their legs, right? When you're kicking the football, you're not just using your foot, you're using the entire lower half, both anterior and posterior chain, so the front and back side, as well as your torso and your arms before and upon striking the football. So there's a lot that goes into that moment of you striking the football, right? It's not just isolated to your groin, your abductor, your adductors, or anything. It's a very sequenced chain of events of the musculature of your entire body. So I think in the athletic population, I think the more you can incorporate movements, training movements, and not so much just isolating muscles that involve the synchronization of several muscle groups, the more transfer you're going to see in athletic performance, while also understanding that those smaller muscle groups that you alluded to that don't get as much love maybe are definitely still important as well.
Got it. Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I hope the exercises we showed you today make you as excited for leg day as we always are. Remember, it's important to pace yourself with any workout routine and to take rest days in between working muscle groups.
Shane, thanks for having me on today. I feel like I learned a lot as well. So just remember to support Optimum Nutrition, building better lives. Since I play in New Orleans, I'm going to credit my workout today to Team Jet to support St. Rose, Louisiana.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on, Will. I learned a ton as well. Always looking to learn and get better. I'm originally from California, so I'm throwing my support to East Palo Alto and Devontae Adams. See how you can help and continue to follow along on buildingbetterlives.com.